Masechet Tmura, page 26, we'll start at the Mishnah, page 25b. There's a wonderful book called Dvar Shaul. The author explained to us, when it's come to a statement that a fellow made, Tfos Leshon Rishon, we always go by the first statement. We assume that when a person makes double statements over one subject, like our subject in the past several days, a certain consecration of animal, while sometimes is some differences or conflict between the statements. Tfos Lashon Rishon, you go by the first statement. So if a fellow consecrated something and has already Chalot Kedusha, we explained yesterday, so therefore you cannot make new Chalot Kedusha, new consecration over something that it's already consecrated. In a way, imagine a situation, a fellow make a decision to contribute a certain offering, can be in varied things, but he made a statement that can go to more than one ways, such as if it's all days, it can be an offering of animal that applies to two different entities, two different offerings. It can apply also in halacha. Nowadays the rabbis, especially those who are dealing with theology, speaks about chashivut hadibur, the importance of statements a person make and how serious the implications of certain statements. Like in the modern days we said, your word is your honor. So we have a concept we learned in the past several days, it's called hatpasa. Hatpasa, with taf and pei and samech, in a way when a person makes a statement, it has some attachment in a sense to between the uttering of words and the fulfillment of that statement toward certain item or certain entities. So if, for example, if one had two animals standing before him and he made a statement, he said, Harei zo tmurat ola, tmurat shlomim. So one is a burnt offering, one is a peace offering, and he said to the third one, which was a non-sacred animal, he said, this animal is hereby a burnt offering, and a substitute of a burnt offering, and this animal is substitute for the peace offering. Harei zot murat ola divrei Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir said that the animal is the substitute of a burnt offering, because tfos leshon rishon, we go by the first statement, and the tfos leshon rishon, we're going to see soon many sources of halacha. You see it earlier, we discussed it yesterday, the Mishnah, but you see more on Zvachim, page 30, we studied this subject at length at that time. Not everyone agree with these Rabbi Meir statements. Amar Rabbi Yossi, im lechach nitchaven tchila, if the person have the intent from the outset, when he said that the animal is the substitute of a burnt offering, to state that the animal is also the substitute of a peace offering, so in a way, we go by the Tfos Lashon Rishon for the statement, original statement, meaning he never thought that both substitutions will be together with one another. הואיל ואי אפשר לקרות שני שמות כאחת. So since it is impossible to call two designations simultaneously, which means one must first say one designation and then the other, dvarav kayamim, his statement stands, and the animal is half a burnt offering and half a peace offering. Now, it's important to know that even in that situation, Rashi tells us that by force of circumstance, you leave the animal until it to graze until it develop a blemish, and then you either redeem or sell it. But they said, ואם מי שאמר תמורת עולה נמלך ואמר תמורת שלומים, if the person was only said, this animal is hereby the substitute of a burnt offering, that he reconsidered and right away said, the substitute of the peace offering. הרי זו תמורת עולה. The entire animal is a substitute of a burnt offering. That's basically what Rabbi Yosei teach us in the previous Mishnah, that toch kedei dibur, that the person, while he make this expression, he kind of changed. But again, you go by the concept. The moment you consecrated something, that will take effect immediately. It's a discussion among the rabbis. What is the concept of toch kedei dibur? Most of them say that it's shalom alecha rabbi umori, which approximately, let's say, 2 seconds or something. But anyway, you cannot use it for any other purposes. Harei zot tmurat olah, that the entire animal is the substitute of the burnt offering. Tmura go to explain at length the machloket, the disputation between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yosei in our Mishnah. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak ברבי יוסי או בר יוסף, אמר רבי יוחנן, הכל מודים, meaning Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yosei agree, באומר תחול זו ואחר כך תחול זו, that you have this expression of consecration. It says the consecration of this animal as a substitute for a burnt offering will take effect, and afterward the consecration of this animal as a substitute for a burnt offering will take effect. Divrei hakol tafos lashon rishon. Everyone agree that one attends only to the first expression, the first statement, which means the sanctity of the burnt offering takes effect, but the sanctity of peace offering does not take effect. Because as Rashi explained to us in Tractate Zvachim, page 30b, the moment something already mekudash, is sanctified, cannot have the new hekdesh, cannot have chalot hekdesh over something that's already mekudash, already sanctified. And also Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi agreed, לא תחול זו, אלא אם כן חלתה זו, תרוויו קדשי. That if it's a case that the fellow said, consecration of this animal as a substitute for a burnt offering shall not take effect until the consecration of this animal as a substitute of a burnt offering shall also take effect, the animal is consecrated as both a burnt offering and a peace offering. לא נחלקו, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi only disagree with what? אלא כגון משנתנו. So only the way that our Mishnah speaks, the Amar, the fellow uttered this interesting statement. He said, תמורת עולה, תמורת שלמים. This animal is the substitute of the burnt offering, the substitute of a of the peace offering. Now the question is, what exactly he meant by that? The Rabbi Meir savar midehava lelemimar tmurat ola ushlamim. The Rabbi Meir hold that since that fellow, if he wanted both sanctities to take effect, he should have said the substitute of the burnt offering and the peace offering. However, what he uttered, he said the substitute of the burnt offering, the substitute of the peace offering. ואמר תמורת עולה תמורת שלומים. הביא לה כאומר תחול זו ואחר כך תחול זו. It's like someone says the consecration of this animal as the substitute for a burnt offering will take effect, and afterward the consecration of this animal as the substitute for a peace offering will take effect. So as a result, according to Rabbi Meir, only the first sanctity takes effect. And the second sanctity cannot take effect because the animal is already consecrated, as we explained earlier. That's the tfos lashon rishon. The whole idea of saying the word Tmura separately, that's the key. And as we said, we learn it also in Tractate Temurah, page 30b. ורבי יוסי סברי אמר תמורת עולה ושלמים, since the person uttered this word, the substitute of a burnt offering and the peace offering, because he reasoned that if he said that, one will say that he intends for the animal to be consecrated with two sanctities, half as a substitution of a burnt offering and half a substitution of a peace offering. Hava mina kdosha ve'eina kreva. The animal cannot be sacrificed in the temple because it's impossible to sacrifice half the animal as one type of offering and half as another type of offering. So therefore Rabbi Yossi teaches us that when he says the substitute of the burnt offering, the substitute of the peace offering, he basically intends for the animal to be both entirely a burnt offering and entirely a peace offering, as he by mistake thinks that such an animal can be sacrificed in the temple. Since he intends for both type of sanctity to take effect, Kamash Melan, the animal is half a burnt offering and half a peace offering. Again, that's the view of Rabbi Yosei. Now the Gemara brings other disputations between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi that connected to their machloket, to their disagreements in our Mishnah. Tanura Banan, the sages taught us in the Braita, in the case of one who had two animals standing before him, one a burnt offering, another one a peace offering, האומר בהמה זו חציה תמורת עולה וחציה תמורת שלמים. So you have animal that is a burnt offering, animal is a peace offering, animal that is non-sacred, and now he said the animal that is not sacred, that is half will be a substitute for a burnt offering and half will be for a peace offering. Kula tikrav ola. The animal is the substitute of a burnt offering and therefore entirely sacrificed as the burnt offering, because as we said, that's the core, that's the beginning. So even though earlier on page 11b, Rabbi Meir rules that if someone sanctified the leg of an animal, the sanctity will not expand to the entire animal, he agreed that if it's ever shan shamat luyabo, if it's part of the animal, that the life, the essence of the living of the animal depend upon it, so therefore expressed to the entirely. So here, when it's come to chetzia shel behema, we take it as ever shan shamat luyabo, that it's a part of the animal, that the core of life of the animal depend upon it. והחכמים אומרים תראה עד שתסתאב ותימכר ויביא בדמי חציה תמורת עולה ובדמי חציה תמורת שלמים. So the sages tells us that you leave the animal to graze until it develops a blemish, then it will be sold. The owner bring a substitute burnt offering with the payment of the half of the animal, and substitute a peace offering of the payment with the other half of the animal. אמר רבי יוסי, אם לכך נתכוון מתחילה, if that was his original intent from the outset, then הואיל ואי אפשר להוציא שני שמות כאחת, since it is impossible that to call two designations simultaneously, דבריו קיימים, his statement stands, and the animal is half a burnt offering and half a peace offering. So the Gemara objects that and said, Rabbi Yosei Hainu Rabbanan. The opinion of Rabbi Yosei is identical to the opinion of the sages. So the Gemara explained, Kula Rabbi Yosei Katan Ela. Rabbi Yosei taught the entire Braita, and the opinion of the sages in the Braita is Rabbi Yosei's opinion. Tanya Idach, Be'emah, Chetzia Ola V'Chetzia Chatat, where we have a fellow that said this animal, half of that designated as a burnt offering, half of the designated as a sin offering. So may hold that you have here a situation that we attend only to the first statement that the person expressed in his words, and therefore half of the animal becomes consecrated as a burnt offering. So now the core of the animal, as we explained earlier, cannot survive with the half of its body. So the sanctity spread to the entire animal. Kula tikarev ola. The entire animal should be burned as a burnt offering. Divrei Rabbi Meir, that's the view of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yosei omer tamut. Rabbi Yosei said that he must left to die. Veshavin, and both of them agree, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi, chetzia chatat v'chetzia ola shetamut. If a person designated the animal half of a sin offering and half of a burnt offering, that the animal must be left to die. So the Gemara clarified here, and they said, Shavin mani, in the last part of the Braita, when they said that both Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi both agreed, what does that mean? So they said, Rabbi Meir, Pshita. So clearly we see here that Rabbi Meir concedes to Rabbi Yossi that the case in the halacha is that the animal must left to die. So Gemara said that Pshita, that's very obvious, because if Rabbi Meir hold that first Lashon Rishon, you go by the first expression, so for sure the Kedusha, the sanctity, will apply the first, so and the animal left to die. So what the Braita comes to teach us, you may thought that without that statement, I may thought that the reasoning of Rabbi Meir, it's not that we attend only to the first expression, rather I'll say that this is Rabbi Meir's reason. In the case of the sanctity of a sin offering that is mixed with another sanctity in the same animal, chatat me'orevet, kreiva is sacrifice, and that is the reason why Rabbi Meir rules that the animal is sacrificed as a burnt offering, despite the fact that the sanctity of a sin offering is also mixed with it. ואפילו כי אמר חציה חטאת, והדר אמר חציה עולה, even if he said half of the animal is designated as a sin offering, and then he said half of it is designated as a burnt offering, kreiva, the animal is sacrificed. So therefore, the Braita teaches us that this is not the reason for the Rabbi Meir's opinion. V'kamash melan dela. The whole idea is that his ruling is because of the principle that to attend only to the first statement, first Lashon Rishon, and consequently, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi agreed in the Seifa, the last part of the Braita, that the animal must be left to die. Tanya Idach, another Braita connected to that Machloket. Amar be'mazo chetzia ula v'chetzia shlamim. The person said over the animal, half of that will be a burnt offering and half of that will be a peace offering. Kdosha ve'eina kreiva. The animal is consecrated but is not sacrificed. So basically the animal grazes until it develops a blemish, at which point is sold and the owner brings a burnt offering with the money of half of the animal and peace offering with the money of the other half of the animal. Kodashim ve'ena kreiva osat Tamura u'Tamurato kayotze bo. The animal renders a non-sacred animal that is in exchange for consecrated as a substitute, and its substitute is treated like it. Utmurato kayotsebo, which means it's not sacrificed. Rather, it's grazed until it becomes blemish, and it is sold, and the owner brings a burnt offering with the money of half of the animal, and the peace offering with the money of the other half of the animal. So the Gemara asks, who is the one who said it? Money. Rabbi Yosei, it's followed the view of Rabbi Yosei, who holds that one accountable for both expressions that he uttered. So they said, Pshita de Kedusha ve'ena kreva. So that's very obvious that Rabbi Yossi holds that in case the animal is consecrated and cannot be offered. Why is it necessary to teach? So they said, the Gemara explained and said, Tmurata itztricha. The Tana need to teach us the important din Tmura, the law of the substitute, which means obviously it's obvious according to the view of Rabbi Yossi, and the only thing is the ma'u de teimar, it may enter to your mind to think nehi dehi lo kreiva, even though the first animal is not offered, tmurata tikrav, its substitute can be offered. Tosfot challenge that, but anyway, kamash melan, so Tanakh teach us that maishna hi de lo kreiva, the havyale kedusha dechuya. It's not offered because its sanctity is deferred from the altar, since it is neither entity a burnt offering nor fully a peace offering. Tmurata name mikoach kedusha dechuya atya. So the substitute whose sanctity comes from the force of the first sanctity, as it was the substitution of an animal whose sanctity was deferred, may not be offered either. So now the Gemara dealing with this situation with animal be'emashu gdesha chetzia, the animal that was consecrated half, and therefore his sanctity was deferred. They said, Amar Rabbi Yochanan be'emashu shnei shutafim, התקדיש חציה שלו וחזר ולקח חציה אחרת והקדישה. You have the animal that belongs to two partners. If one of the partners consecrated his half of the animal and then he acquired the other half of the animal from his partner and consecrated it, so they said, הקדיש חציה שלו וחזר ולקח חציה אחרת והקדישה קדושה ואינה קרבה. So the animal is consecrated but cannot be offered. ועושה תמורה, so the animal, although the animal is now fully consecrated, it can never again become fit for sacrifice since it was once disqualified, and this animal renders a non-sacred animal that is exchanged for it consecrated as a substitute. ועושה תמורה, ותמורתה, and its substitute 26b כיוצא בה. So also it's like it, the substitute animal also not offer on the altar. Why? Because you have already at pasat kedusha for that animal that was already rejected from being offered. Bema d'chuya milihi karev. So this one is also cannot be offered. Rashi expand on that in Tractate Kiddushin, page 7. Now the Gemara expand on that and said that we learn three important things in Dinei Dichui from Rabbi Yochanan's statement. Shma mina tlat. You derive three important conclusions. One, Shma mina kedushat damim nidcha. You derive from that that the sanctity that inherits in its value is defer, which means when a fellow consecrated only half an animal has consecrated, that animal with the sanctity that inherits is its value but not with inheritance sanctity, as the animal cannot be offered. Number two, ushma mina ba'alei chayin, or some said ba'alei mumin nidchin, that we conclude from it that only not meaning the ba'alei mumin, only the some said Ba'alei Chaim, that the living animal that cannot be sacrificed with whatever reason are permanently deferred. And finally, ushma minat dichui miikaro ave dichui. So they defer at the outset when the animal is first consecrated. Is considered a permanent disqualification. Not only is an animal that was fit to be offered when initially consecrated and only later disqualified, permanently deferred, but the same applies to an animal that was disqualified from the outset when it was initially consecrated, which means if only half of it was initially consecrated. Amar Abaye, הכל מודים אחד אמר חציה עולה וחציה מעשר דברי הכל עולה וקריבה. Everyone concedes in a case where one said half the animal is designated as a burnt offering and half designated as an animal tithe. Everyone agreed that the animal is consecrated and sacrificed entirely as a burnt offering. היכד אמר חציה תמורה וחציה מעשר מהו. If someone utters this word that half of the animal designated as a substitute and half of that designated as an animal tithe, which consecration takes effect? Because both of them are invalid. Tmura kreiva is the animal sacrificed as a substitute. Sheken noeget bechol Kodashim, that the sanctity of substitution applies to all sacrificial animals. Or dilma maaser krova sheken makdish lefanav uleacharav. You can say perhaps that the animal is sacrificed as an animal tithe because the consecration of the animal tithe is more comprehensive, since if one mistakenly counted the 9th animal to pass underneath the rod as the 10th or the 11th as the 10th, he consecrates those animals that passed before and after the 10th. So the Gemara states, Teiku, that dilemma stands unresolved. Tishbi etaretz kushiyot ve'abaiyot. Now the Mishnah speaks about leshonot murah, different expression of language that serves, that affect or not affect substitution. If a fellow said, Harei zo tachat zo, this non-sacred animal is hereby in the place of that consecrated animal. Tumura zo, chalifat zo, if he said, it is the substitute of that consecrated animal, or if he said, it is the exchange for that consecrated animal, harezu tmura, that non-sacred animal is a substitute. Zo mechulelt al zo ein zo tmura. If he said, this consecrated animal is the consecrated, with its sanctity transferred to that non-sacred animal is not a substitute. Ve'im, however, haya hekdesh ba'al mum, if the consecrated animal was blemished, and he said this consecrated animal is consecrated with its sanctity transferred to that non-sacred animal, the consecration animal is desacralized and assume non-sacred status by Torah law. By rabbinic law, the owner is required to conduct an appraisal to ascertain the relative value of the two animals. If the consecrated animal was worth more than the non-sacred animal, he must pay the difference to the Beit HaMikdash treasury. Now, as we said many times, that this subject can be expanded much more. Just a comment I want to make, the Gemara said that we derive from Rabbi Yochanan that dichui mikaro ave dichui, which means they can have a permanent way, something that melchatchila ugdash, that originally consecrated, not in a proper way. So there is an expression that Rashi explained how you follow the dichui kavua or not the dichui kavua, but I think we'll continue next shiur because we're running short in time.